Okay. Um, so previously we talked about how to customize your habits, like in your own way, because because if you think about habits in general, it totally depends on your personality, the way that you actually born, your genetic, and the way you actually are raised in your family. So everything, every single element in there is really important. So based on that, your habits are going to be shaped. And when I say, you know, you got to do this, it doesn't mean that you have to go for that particular path. Literally, you have to customize it in your own way. So whatever we talk about here is just a general concept which can be applied to your life, but it should be with your own settings, not my settings, because we're totally different people and it's never going to work that way. So today I want to talk about something far more greater than that. So yesterday I was talking to my best friend Mo. So we were talking about the routine. So one big concept in everybody's life is routine. So what is a routine? Like in today's world, the whole things about routine just changed. There's some approach in the world of behavioral science, which we call it IJism. But what is IJism? First, I have to explain that. IJism is the form of doing everything like every day you have something to do from 9 to 5. For instance, you wake up, you eat your breakfast, you go to your work, you work until 5, you get back home, and there's everything just like that is just happening every day, just like the other days. So you're just copying everything you do here and you paste it to your future. That form of life is just what we call it IJism, a form of a structure that you are in there and you don't question it, you just do it. And your everyday life is just like the other days, and that's not very fun. But what we discussed about was that routine in our life is different from what world defined for us. So there is this guy, Naval, he's a philosopher. You can just search him. I don't know his family name, but you can find him. Like he's everywhere. He was in Lex Fridman's podcast. He was on Joe Rogan, I assume. And Mo told me that Naval was talking about this thing, routine, which everybody has his own sweet spot. So you just go and learn something. Maybe it takes 3 weeks, a month, and you just do it constantly, and after that you're just gonna get off. You're not gonna work, and you're not really into working or into learning or into doing anything else. So sometimes you're on and sometimes you're off, and there's some time differences here, maybe 3 weeks on, 3 weeks off, and this is kind of an evolutionary process of your like body and mind. And Mo was telling me that having a routine in a way that IJs work is not that proper for everybody. Maybe we're not designed to work every day from 9 to 5, but we're about to invest some of our times on learning things constantly, and we may like to have actually a time off for us. Nobody knows how long. So this things about routine is just very fascinating. It just made me realize that yes, I kind of like lived in that way for all my life, and all the regret that I had in my life was all about the time that I had to take off and to have a rest, because learning and doing and processing, it takes a lot of energy, and we don't really understand how much energy we just put for that particular job, and we don't really recognize the time of the rest that we should have for the recovery. So we're never gonna have any good assumption for such thing, doing and resting. So how much for this and how much for that, but our body knows. And it just happened to you that you're just gonna do something, and when the time that you have to rest, you're just gonna blame yourself that, oh, why I don't want to do anything now, why I'm not really in mood of doing anything. So maybe that's the rest time for you, but we don't realize that pretty much often. And this concept made me a lot more aware of the situation that yes, I do need the rest time. And when you need to rest, maybe you need to just lay down and sleep, or going out with your friends, or just reading a book, or doing everything that you like. Maybe that's the rest time, and you should not really blame yourself for any of that. And with that being said, your daily life, with that things that we talked earlier, the behavior, waking up 3 in the morning, maybe some days of your life that's not going to happen. You should not really blame yourself for such thing. And that was a very big concept that we talked about. So having all of it together, I want to just get to a conclusion that first you need to find the habit that you like. Maybe you feel something important in your life that you have to do. You're going to just put some deadlines in there. You're just going to put some restriction to not doing things, and just focus more on what you really have to do, what you really need to do, what you really love to do. And when it comes to the rest time, have a bit of rest. That's all I can say. And from yesterday, it just made everything much more clear to me that yes, I'm not really skipping learning. I'm not skipping doing hard works. That's not me. I'm really into doing all of that, but I have to consider some rest time for myself to be able to recover from the hard things that I used to do, and now I'm more fresh to learn one more time, like just spitting all those garbage from your mind by doing whatever you like, and then you're fresh to consume again. So that was a very interesting concept. I think you have to consider that as well. Think how it actually worked for you in your life, and think how you've been dealing with this thing, resting. And for me, I was always blaming myself. It was just like, dude, it's like you work three straight days, 12 hours a day, working on one particular instrument. You learned it all, and 3 years by now, you don't even want to touch that instrument anymore. But maybe all of a sudden I like to play it one more time again. And don't blame yourself for not touching that instrument. You already know how to do it. And yes, it's true, you've done that before. You've practiced all of these things earlier, but you're not really into it anymore. So no one here is to blame. You've done it. You've studied enough. You learned enough. You've done enough. So have a bit of rest and don't blame yourself. Yeah, that's a very important thing, I guess. Hope it'll be useful for you. See if it works for you, and if it does not work for you, you need to think about it more. It'll definitely gonna be in there somewhere. All right, see you later.